We're live? All right, guys. Paul Carlson here with Greg Carlson. And today we're going to just throw a curveball here. We're going to try and stump Greg. We're going to see what we can do. And I need your help. I need you guys to all chip in with some questions. But our opening question, maybe we'll give people a minute or two here to tune in here. Before we jump in here, Greg, what's your prediction for the spring market?
I think the inventory shortage is with us, and I think we're getting an early spring because of the lack of a harsh winter.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're already seeing, the shortage. We're seeing multiple offers. We're seeing over asking. So it appears we're in for another slugfest, so to speak.
Do you think we're heading into our tightest inventory yet?
I don't. We'll probably know that shortly. I think last year we had 1 month where we were under 1 month supply or inventory.
Real quick
right
here.
now, I think we're 1.4 in February.
Real quick here, the reason we use month supply when talking about the market, guys, is because, well, first off, month supply kind of looks like this. You take your number of available listings and you take the rate at which the number of homes you're selling each month. So for example, if we have 1,000 homes available and we sell 100 homes in the month of March, we would have a 10-month supply. And the reason we use that term is because it gives us a pulse for the market. It tells us right off the bat, like, how's the market doing? So we know that a 5 to 6 month supply
is normal.
It's called normal. Neither buyer nor seller has a clear advantage.
Although after the last 5 years, there's no
normal. We're way out of normal. So that's when we use the word, the phrase month's supply of homes. That's what we're referring to, at what clip or what rate. Another way to explain it to your buyers or sellers is think of a car lot, and you go, we got 100 cars on the lot. How long is it going to take us to sell every single car if we take no new cars in? How long is it going to take us to unload this entire lot? And that gives you your example of month supply or inventory. Okay. This is a question that I've sort of been asking realtors recently. And I think I mentioned it maybe on a live stream previously, but we're going to challenge Greg. So the question is, you have 7 days to get a buyer or a seller, and your life absolutely depends on whether or not you can get a buyer or a seller. I don't care if you work 120 hours. I don't care what you do. If you work 3 hours, doesn't matter to me. But run me through your week and how you would go about. Don't hold back at all. But how far would you be willing to go, and what would you do in the next 7 days to find a buyer or seller?
So this is like life changing, right? I mean, this is like the difference, paying your bills, not paying your bills, losing your home, not losing your home.
Yes.
Feeding your family, not feeding your family.
You have no other option. This is the only way you can survive. You have to have this.
And then ultimately what we're saying is that if you do these things, you probably would get something.
Yeah, for example, like you can't tell me, like, for example, if you told me you could go, you've been trying as hard as you could to go find a buyer, and I said, did you hold an open house last week? And you said no.
And then you would say no. Then you didn't do your hard.
You didn't try as hard as you could.
No, it wasn't life threatening to you.
No, you didn't need to find a buyer if you didn't hold an open house.
So I think back to my experiences, and I realize that I'm limited when it comes to some of the technological things that somebody might. So I'll leave that up to you. But so when I think about it, I think the first thing that I would be doing is I would be on the phone with some agents who have listings in an area that I think would be high trafficked opportunities. And so I would be reaching out to others, saying, begging, pleading, I'd love to hold your listing open. So that'd be one of the first things I would do.
First you'd try.
By the way, I would be looking for probably 2 opens on Saturday and probably 2 opens on Sunday.
So basically,
I do 4
Monday,
open.
If Monday's day one,
right?
Your first bat
Give
is
me
I'm going to set
7
up
days.
as many open houses as I can.
I'm going to set up at least 4 open houses.
Okay.
And then I am probably going to next begin to put a mailer together or something I can drop off, and I'm probably going to try to hit 50 to 100 homes that surround these 4 properties.
Okay.
Just saying, hey, I've got this open house. Don't know if you know anybody, but I know a lot of times people like to pick their neighbors, and people they want to be around people they like. So this is what's happening.
So this is all on Monday.
This is immediately. Once I learned who and where I was going to get an open house, the next thing would be I'd be putting together mailers.
Okay. Or flyers you drop off.
Right. The next thing I would do is I would probably look around where 5 Star has sold a house in the last week, and I would probably go door knocking into those areas.
Okay.
And the reason I would do that is I know that when a for sale sign goes up and a sold sign goes up in a neighborhood, that people that had not been thinking about it, all of a sudden their interest has been piqued. And so timing is everything in this business. And so I'd be door knocking, phone calling. I'd go to the Bressers, do whatever I had to do to find phone numbers of these people in those locations. But I would be saying, hey, 5 Star just sold a property down the street. I can pretty much assure you there was multiple offers of people trying to get into this market. You could also call the agent up and ask them if that's true, so that you're not spinning a tail.
So you're basically calling people around sales that have taken place,
right?
And just saying, hey, I just wanted to make you aware that we sold a home, or a home was 5 Star sold a home down the street,
and there was multiple offers, and it went for over asking. And so this, if you're thinking about it, this could be your moment to shine as a seller.
1 second here, Dom. Are we live still?
Yeah, it's saying when I connect to the internet who we are.
So
I'm taking notes here.
It's still working, right?
I'm taking notes here.
All right. So next, I would probably, one of the things that I always did that I found of interest was expired listings. And the reason that I would focus on expired listings is that it was pretty immediate. And that what I meant by that is that they've already held their hand up and said, I want to sell my house. The second thing they've held their hand up and said is, I want to, and I'm willing to pay a broker. So it's not like you got to fight with a for sale by owner to convince them that you have value. These people have already said, I see the value, but it didn't work out.
Okay.
And so that would be my next thing. And I wouldn't be calling them. I would probably be door knocking. I would be out. I'd put together a little handout.
So this is probably Tuesday now.
Yep.
So you've got your open houses coming. You're advertising your open houses. You're flyering neighborhoods.
Yep.
You're letting people know about the open house coming.
Yep.
Next, you're grabbing
Right.
sales.
Now I'm going to go after. I'm going to go after expireds because I know there are people that have already held their hands up. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm probably going to go look at the for sale by owner market, because once again, there's people that have held their hands up and said, here I am. And we all know that, and you know what? Anybody can sell their home in this market. The real question that I would be pushing to these people would be, how do you know if you're going to get top value? I can assure you that you are going to get top value right now with a realtor, because there's 7,500 agents in West Michigan that all are going to get paid and are all incentivized to bring somebody to your house. And if you expose it to more people, you are going to get more money. You're going to get more offers, which create more of a frenzy, and you end up with your bidding war.
But plus
I think that whatever you think you're going to save by not paying a broker. As a matter of fact, most people are going to end up paying a buyer's agent anyhow. They're going to pay half of a commission, even for sale by. I bet you most for sale by owners end up paying half a commission.
Okay.
And so you're only talking about trying to convince them that you're going to save half of a brokerage fee, and you can bring in more interest. It's like car sales. I mean, it's like, can you get as much money for your car putting it out in the corner as the dealer can get for your car? And the answer is no. The dealer always gets more, and the answer is because he's got more activity, he's got more action, he's got more exposure than you can ever create on your own.
But from a counterpoint here, you the car owner can retain more dollars if you sell it on the corner versus the trade-in price the dealer's going to give you.
Price is
so
higher.
It's not really apples to apples, but I get the point.
Yeah. So here we are, and so now I have. If you recap what I was just saying so far,
Here's the recap: open houses, at least 4 for the week. That's
Yep.
on Monday. Then you're going to flyer the open house neighborhoods on Monday afternoon.
yeah,
On Tuesday, you start to call around 5-star sales to say,
Right.
hey, 5-star sold a home down the street.
Right.
Here's what happened. Here's the price it went for. Hey, if you're curious about your home, let me know.
Wednesday's expireds,
And Wednesday is expireds and FSBOs.
and I would say Thursday. I would say you'll have enough to do expireds on all day Wednesday, and then Thursday would be all day FSBOs,
Okay.
and then.
When do you plan on talking to people you know?
Well, I think that that's got to happen every day, and I think that you're going to have downtimes during each day.
So you'd pepper every
So
single
I would
day.
pepper every single day with calling up people that I know, and just saying, "Hey, the market's happening, things are moving.
Rates are incredible."
Yep, we got some homes to sell. We've got buyers. Blah blah blah. But I think that the main thing that I'm trying to show you here is that if you had to come up and find one person who's going to buy or sell a home, and that you could go back and say to your spouse, hey, look, I landed a bona fide, motivated person that's not a flake, that is not a dreamer, and they've got resources and they've got good credit. I mean, because
I didn't say you have to have a contract written.
No, but I'm just saying that I think what happens with a lot of agents is that they think they've got somebody real, and it turns out that you spin your wheels, and I've done this myself in my career, where I had a gut feeling that the person was not real, and I gave them way too much of my time, and ultimately I ended up firing myself because I discovered that either the credit was bad, I didn't ask the right questions, they didn't tell me the truth, I should have walked. And I think that's part of it, is we allow ourselves to be taken in because we have the heart, a servant's heart, or that we want to help somebody that needs help. And in the end, you can't save the world. Mm-hmm. And so you got to get over that complex if you have it. And you got to focus on who has the money, the wherewithal, the motivation, the desire, and again, you got to have the spouses agreeing. And if the spouses are heading in different directions, that's another reason to get out of Dodge.
So let me refocus you, because I think what you're saying is, listen, what I'm really hearing you say is, if I've got 7 days to find a real buyer and seller, I don't have time for somebody who smells like a seller or buyer.
Right.
They've got to be a buyer or seller.
I think lots of agents get fooled.
And what you're saying is that we're so happy that someone's piqued some interest.
Someone's talking to
that
you.
we treat them like they're a legitimate, like,
Golden.
this is going to happen. I'm
Yep.
going to put all my time and energy into
And
this
you
basket.
have to ask tough questions.
Right.
All right.
So in the
going
process
on.
of this,
So I'm down to what? I'm through Thursday now.
Well, yeah, you're through Thursday, but you just added that every single day you're calling or emailing people you know. Now, I'm going to add a couple things because I'm involved in technology a bit more than you, and so it's not rocket science, but I would add in some Facebook messaging, direct Facebook messages, direct Instagram messages, and some text messaging for those millennial type people who maybe.
And so, what would you say? What are you gonna say that doesn't sound corny or hokey?
Okay,
or
so let's
salesy?
hypothetically say I was gonna message Dominic Krupp, and I was like, hey, I haven't talked to Dom in a couple years. I feel uncomfortable calling Dom. I really hardly even knew Dom. I mean, I know Dom from high school, but remember, my life depends on this, so I've got to reach out to Dom. Because if
he might know somebody.
He might know somebody, or he might actually be curious himself, or maybe he's got a brother or in-law or a coworker who wants to do something. So if I was going to Facebook message Dom, because I don't have his cell phone number, and I don't know where he lives. We went to high school together.
Right.
And by the way, 30-year-olds aren't really in the white pages, and their phone numbers aren't listed because they don't have landlines.
Right. I get it.
So I've got to be more creative here. So what I would do is I would probably message Dom something like, "Hey Dom, hope you're doing well. It looks like you've built a video career, man. That's incredible. Hey, I just want to let you know what I'm up to. I'm in real estate. I want to be a resource for you. If you need anything at all, reach out." I mean, it would be very basic. That hey, I want to be a resource for you. I would probably pepper in there, hey, if you know anybody, let me know. It would have to be a little bit cheesy and corny because I'm asking him something. I'm asking him to refer me, essentially. But I would try to find some way that sounds natural, some way that sounds real and authentic that says, hey, I honestly just want to help you. If you have any questions, let me know. Yep. If you know anybody, let me know.
Let me go.
If you did that with 200 or 300 people on your Facebook contacts list.
Right. Let me go back to the open house because I want to talk about what I've seen work and what I've not seen work over the years. First off, just being there gives you an opportunity.
At an open house.
Right. You're playing in traffic at that moment, right? But the typical thing that I've heard or seen over the years is the realtors got their little sign-in thing.
Yeah, sign-in.
And I've never been a big believer in the sign-in thing. I know it works for some agents, never worked for me. But I was more prone to just say, come on in, take a look. I'm not going to follow you around
I'll
here.
hang back by the kitchen.
I'll be over here if you have any questions. And then at some point, I might circle back and say something like, I want to shock them just a little bit with a question that they maybe wouldn't be used to hearing. And I've found that if you can do that, you might get a real answer instead of like the book answer. Most people, hey, what are they going to say? We're just looking. And so I want to say to them something like, if you found the right house today, would you be ready to buy it? Or I might say, how long have you been looking? Mm-hmm. Why do you think you haven't found a house? If you're out there seriously looking, how have you not found a house? And so I'm gonna come up with questions more down this road that are gonna be more sharp, and a lot of the agents may have better questions than I do. And I'd love to see some agents, type some of their their questions they might ask to throw these people off balance. Because if you just give them the standard, hey, how you doing? Having a good day? Can I help you? Are you working with a realtor? Blah blah blah.
Well, let me give you a real life example.
Yeah.
My wife has a really small Tiguan, and we have 3 kids. And she's like, Paul, I want a bigger car. So I called on this car over at XYZ Motors. That's the actual name of the dealer. And I called and I said, hey, just calling on this this Tahoe you have on the lot or whatever. And I said, hey, is this your best price? I'm thinking I'm a lead, right? Mm-hmm. If I answered that phone and I was that dealer, I'm a lead.
Yeah.
You can relate this to open houses too. So I walk in, or I call and I say, is this the best price you have? He goes, yep, everything we have online is always our rock bottom price. So I said, okay, well in that case, thank you so much for answering my question, and that's all I have. Now, he goes, okay, thanks.
Yeah, right. So there was,
So tell me.
So a real live person walked in a door, wanting to do something.
Asking questions.
And he allowed him. And see, to me, I was like, pity the next person that I meet. They don't know it right now, but they're going to be my client.
So you relate this back to the open house, and you go, are you going to let someone walk through that door and just go, have a great day?
Yeah.
Or are you gonna start to connect with them?
Yeah.
And get more questions?
And so I think the key to it then is to sit down, develop some unique questions that are going to force the people to do something more than yes or no thank you. Okay. So I was just thinking when you were talking there, I'm going, all right, so one of the last things that I think that each one of us has the ability, people like people they know, and people they like people that are like themselves. So if you live in a neighborhood, then other people have chosen that same neighborhood as you for a certain reason, and so I would be talking to them.
Well then,
so
Renee, I think Greg's going to answer your question without me even asking it.
And so I would be on the phone or door knocking my own neighborhood, and I would put something together with all the stats going on in my neighborhood so that I could be the expert. Mm-hmm. And then I would go let these people know that I'm the expert, and I would actually give them numbers about what's going on.
Now remember, your life depends on this.
I know.
Okay?
I'm doing everything I can.
Renee brings a really good question up. She says, do you see value in setting some time aside during the week to involve yourself in community events, volunteering to speak at a club meeting about the market industry, or something that puts you in the spotlight as a realtor?
I do. And I think that all of us need to be involved.
Yep.
Whether, parents associations, helping out, wherever. But I'm a firm believer in that the more involved you are, the more you give. I believe the law of the world is that you get back.
Right.
You always are going to get back more than you give. You can never outgive. And so I'm a firm believer that you need to be involved. For me, I'll just be simply say it. I was very involved at my church. I was involved in the youth groups. I was involved in the parents groups. I was involved on boards. I was involved in every aspect. And you know what? I met people in multiple ways because I was involved. And so, but that's typically the reason I'm answering it this way is because that's long-term stuff that you've got to be doing. The question was, I gotta get somebody this week.
So maybe you take the same question for this week and you go, you know what? I'm a member of the golf club.
Yep.
I'm gonna call all the members in the golf club, like, hey, so I'm here at the golf. I'm a member of the golf course. I'm a realtor. Whatever it is.
We had an example. We talked to somebody the other day about that loves dogs.
Yeah.
And that's their passion. And then there's another agent that loves giving bikes to kids.
Yep.
And gives away a bike for every sale that they do. And there's all these unbelievable, what I call the long-term, long game marathon, because it's not a sprint. But we're talking about the sprint.
So
right
I'm
now.
gonna add to this whole. If you've got to survive, you got to find this buyer or seller in 7 days or less. I believe that in this marketplace, the inventory is so tight that you could hold an open house at lunch. You can hold an open house in the evening,
Could be any
before or
time.
after dinner.
Yep.
So you could probably, if your life depended on it, you could probably
Hold something open every day.
You could hold at least 1 to 2 houses open a day.
Yep.
So you could probably have 14 open houses in a week.
Yep. And I had one last thought. I was thinking about, we were talking about the door knocking in your area. The last thing, I think, you have apartment complexes. I think what I would be doing would be going and meeting people that were the managers or the key people at the apartment complexes. There's one out by our office, and I've been thinking about stopping there and just saying, that new one across the street from our office, and just saying, what's happening here? I would want to become friends with that person and say, do you have people that you know that have given you notice that they're going to be moving out?
Yep.
And I would be trying to find out.
Okay.
I'd be trying to find, because guess what? Those are buyers. Those are going to pay quicker than typically, the other longer term things. So those would be my thoughts on what I would do. And remember now, this was all based on need a deal, 7 days or less. How do I get somebody that's going to buy or sell?
Right.
And again, there's a whole nother story here with Renee's question about building the long game.
And that's important. I was just going, what are the daily activities that are going to give you a chance to bump into somebody?
Right. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think if there's anything else we can add to that.
I think we did it.
You think we did it?
Yeah. Well, I would love to hear people follow up from this. If they've got other ideas that they
if you
would
guys do have ideas, guys, punch them in here. Even after
we'll
the
share
stream ends. Even after the live stream ends.
Yeah.
I'd love to see. You know what, guys? How about this? Whoever posts the most compelling 7-day strategy to find a buyer or seller, will give a free house marketing video away too. It's about a $300 value. Dom, smiling at me over there. So Dom will make you a video. If you can contribute the most compelling 7-day strategy
for finding a buyer or seller
Yep.
who's serious, motivated, not a liar, has the resources, can do it.
$300 media credit or a house video. So hopefully you guys punch that in here and you do that, but we'd love to see it. So Greg, thank you for contributing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, I appreciate it, and we'll continue this conversation.
All right.
See you guys soon.
Go get them.